Hey, welcome back, and for this video let's get back to basics and learn just some way of doing sketching, and more importantly how we can draw anything accurately. And I think this is really important because as an artist, whatever it is that you want to draw, you always want to be able to look at something and be able to translate that back onto paper accurately, and then all the shading part comes later. So what I've done here is that I've got 4 of these cards. I do collect some of the cards I used to sell, and a variety of subjects. And let me just roughly go over them real quick and how I can draw any of these cards or these images, so that we can learn to draw accurately, and also about sketching as well. So let's start. Well, let's start with this one, the Boba Fett. So this one's pretty cool. So this one is relatively easy, right? If we're gonna draw something like this. What I like to do is to break down the basic shapes of this. Let's say the head. I know it's not a circle, but I'll just draw a circle first because it's very similar. So once we have this, and if we want to draw the face mask, the whole head shape, we know the top is round and the side is a little bit more narrow, so I can just draw that, right? Kind of flares out slightly, so I'm just gonna go out slightly. And then on the bottom, we know it comes in like that. So just like this, you have the shape of the helmet. So that's how you can draw these things. So simplify the shape. It's a circle, 2 straight lines going out. And when you do any kind of sketching, try to extend the lines. It will help. You'll be able to see it better. So now let's say we want to add in some more detail. What I always like to do is to find the center point of this shape. So I compare that to here. So the center of this is right around here. So the center of this is right around here. So now I know the visor is right around here, and there's a slight curve to it. So I'm just gonna draw that. And we know it goes up slightly more. Okay, and then now for the middle part, that's easy, right? That's just gonna be 2 straight lines. Okay. So let me shade this real quick. Okay, so immediately now you have this, and then on the inside here, so once we have this shape here, the inside is easy, right? Now we can just draw these lines or whatever detail we have to fill in the gaps. Okay, so I won't go into that too much. So now that we have this, let's come down to the body. So now if you look at the body, it's almost like a little trapezoid here. Okay, so we look at the shoulder. How wide is the shoulder compared to this? Right, so if you look at this angle right here from this point, it's kind of that angle. Okay, so now we know it's gonna be about this wide on the shoulder. I mean, roughly, I know some of this might be wrong, but it's just gonna give you a very quick, estimation on this. Okay, so it's gonna come down. Well, we don't know how far because the hand's in the way. So once you have this shape, now we can draw in the arms. So now I'm gonna look at this line here. I'm gonna extend this here. Let me put this a little bit more to the side. So I'm extending these lines, and then the elbow, I'm looking at how far this is. It's probably, if I look at the length of this, it's probably almost the length of the height of the head, maybe slightly smaller. So I visualize this line here. I put it over here. So that's probably around there. I mean, close enough. Okay, and then the hand, when you look at it straight down, it's gonna be right around here. Okay, and then if we can see the space right here, okay, how tall is this space right here? Well, if we compare it to the head, which is right at the top, it looks like it's a little bit longer than the height of the head. So the height of the head, I'm just gonna double it so it's right around here. So I was actually pretty close, okay, to begin with. So once we have the hand, now we draw in everything else. Now we're just kind of filling in. So very, very, kind of no-brainer at this point. So getting these key elements is how we can draw things accurately. So once we have this, let's just go ahead and finish this out real quick and see, how what kind of art we can get from this. So now I'm just drawing the inside. Just seeing all these little lines. There's a shoulder pad here. I'm using a 4B. I hope it's a little light. Maybe I should use a darker pencil. And if you really want to shade in stuff, you know, we can almost identify the shadows here. Here's a Terminator here going up. So again, let's try some really quick sketch. Might be kind of fun. So very loose sketching. We know this arm completely dark, or not dark, I mean in the shade. Here's the hand, here's the finger, the pinky comes up. So now I'm just drawing the shadows. Okay, for the face mask, let's draw some of this. This is kind of cool. So here, round shape. Here's the Terminator. Darker here. This part's dark. Back to the hand. Okay, so something like that. I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but with this general shading, now we can come in and, you know, add in as much stuff as you want. And I might do that off camera later, but I just kind of want to show you how you can, you know, quickly sketch something like this and actually have the correct form, and then add in the shadows and things like that. So, all right, so that's Boba Fett. Let's move on to another one. All right, let's draw Obi-Wan here. I'm gonna switch my pencil. Let's do a. I think this is a 6B. All right, let's try a 6B. So it's a little bit darker. Hopefully you can see a little bit better in the camera. So when I look at this, I'll sketch in the head like this first, at an angle, right? Just really roughly, kind of like a little oval shape at an angle. And then how do we draw this line here? So I'm gonna simplify this thing. So we know that the hood is right around there, right, to the head. And then we're gonna come down at an angle like this. We're just coming down here. I'm simplifying the line, even though I know this is a curve. I'm just drawing a line here. And then from there, we can rough in the actual curve, come down here. This one goes out. And then we'll go back up. So again, we can simplify this if I just draw line, 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 line. Once I have this line, I can clean this up. Let's draw here the tip. This comes down all the way out here. Okay. So here, you can almost see this line here, right on the chin. Let's say this is a chin. If I draw a line here, okay, that's where the end of this little hoodie is going to end up with. So this gives me a very good approximation as to where, you know, this whole hoodie ends. Okay, so once you have that, now we can draw in the part of the face. So for the face, this part's a little bit trickier because it is, you know, I guess, you know, faces are a lot harder to draw. Let's say that's the nose. Looks like it's right in the middle of this shape here. And then we know that's going to be the mouth. Come down, and then the eye socket here. Okay, so I actually start with the nose because it's right in the middle of this space. So that's kind of like how I like to visualize things, is by finding midpoints of things and seeing where things connect to each other. Okay, and of course, if we, you know, get certain areas wrong because we're using what we've drawn as reference, then the whole things do get kind of askew sometimes, which is kind of happening here. So if I can correct that real quick. Okay, and then the shoulders, this is no-brainer, we just come down. And then let's say the hand. So if you look at the hand, where's the hand compared to the face? So it's right around here. If I come down, right around there. And I can draw a little circle here. Again, I'm simplifying this shape. And then this hand right underneath like that. And then a lightsaber, we're gonna go out this way, this angle, this angle. Again, very messy stuff, but again, we are sketching, that's what we're doing. So don't worry about all these lines going everywhere, you know, it's not a big deal. Well, this part's really off. So let me correct that real quick. Shoulder. Okay, and then the hand, yeah, the hand's a little bit more difficult. So here's the knuckle. You can draw a line there like that. Here's a palm, and then the fingers. Yeah, this thing gets a little bit trickier. Okay, something like that. Okay, and then let's see if we go back to the face. We can add in more stuff. And at this point, let's go ahead and I'll just shade a little bit so that we can hopefully get some of the form, and then we'll move on to the next one. So this is all in the shadow here. There's the mouth, beard. This is in the shadow. And then underneath right here is dark. And that's how we're going to be able to see the beard because it's white. So here's the shadow. This is actually very cool. You got to make this darker. You can leave the inside here a little bit lighter to actually create some bounce lighting. It'll look a lot more artistic. And then the nose. Dark underneath. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Dark here. And then, you know, all these little shading here, very easy to do once you have, you know, the guidelines in there. Harsh dark. So this thing's pretty dark in general. But I just want to get the feel of this character. Yeah, so I'm correcting this. As I'm drawing, I notice these lines are way off, so I'll just correct them. Okay, so let's not draw any more of this one, because I think it's a lot more shading. But overall, you know, you kind of have the feel of this character, hopefully. Again, extend the lines. Very important to extend the lines. Let it go through, go out. Okay. Yeah, let's hope for this. This might be kind of cool. I mean, I might shade this off camera, have a little fun with it. But let's move on to another one. And let's see, this one's got a little bit more perspective, so let's try this. Okay, so let's try R2-D2 here. So this one's actually pretty simple. Again, it's very simple shape, but it's a lot of little details, but let's just simplify that. So when I look at this, it's basically a cylinder that is slightly tilted. So let's say I'm just gonna draw two lines like this. Okay, that's gonna be a tilt for the body. And then we know it's a cylinder, so let's just draw a little curve. Now I know this part here, it's a little tricky because in order to get this curve, you actually want to draw in the whole shape here. It's like a little ellipse. And ellipses are actually pretty hard to draw. That's why they have these little, you know, what do you call them? These ellipse circles that you can that you can use to trace them. But we're not gonna do that, obviously. So let's try to draw the whole thing like this. It's a little bit easier to see. And then let's just draw that. So same thing up here. Right. And then for the top, we know it's round, so we're just gonna draw a half circle. So just like that, now we have the shape of this, I guess looks like a little trash can here. All right, and then now for the legs, a little bit tricky because it's coming down. So let's just say this is a line here. We know that there's a curve here, and this is gonna go, let's just draw a line like that so we know this is the direction of this perspective here. So we're gonna come down, and we extend all the way past here, and then there's another shape here. Okay, I won't go too much on this one. And then now there's perspective line going this way. So yeah, it's a little tricky. Okay, now we have lines going this way. Okay, yeah, so maybe this one's not a good of an example because there's just so much perspective to this. All right, so let's skip that one and let's draw this blaster, which is kind of cool. And now this is side view, so it's actually pretty simple to draw. So what you want to do is simplify the shape here. So if you're looking at this, basically this is one rectangle here, right? And then one cylinder coming out, and then notice these kind of like a light bulb shape coming down this way. So just try to visualize this little rectangle. So let's just draw that. Okay, so that's the rectangle for this. Now if we look down here, if there's a rectangle here, right in the middle, on the bottom right here, is the trigger. Okay, so I'm just gonna draw a little shape like this. And then from the trigger, we know it goes up a little bit more than halfway of the circle. So here's halfway, let's go up slightly, and we'll come across. Now you basically have this shape here. And now once we have this, we can come in here and start, drawing all the little details. And then let's say up here, if this thing dips down slightly. Okay, one little angle right in the middle of this angle. Okay, so this line here, middle is right where the dip is. And then we can extend this line. I'm seeing this shape here. Okay, so now we have that. So again, very simple, and this kind of technique works for everything. It's like, it doesn't matter what you draw. If you can visualize the outside shape first, and in sketching, you want to be able to draw the simplified shape first, and then we'll go in and draw in the details. All right, and then for the handle, well, actually, let's draw this part first so I don't get my hand over this. So now it's easy, right? Now we know this part goes out. And we can actually, this is simple enough, but if you want to visualize this as one big rectangle, we can do that as well. Okay. And we can divide that in half because it's right there. And then for the muzzle here, that's the very tip. Okay, so we can draw that. Now we can draw the details. And the shading here, let's just do this real quick. Yeah, so this is hard surface drawing. It's a little bit different, a lot more straight lines, obviously. It's not like drawing a human figure. Okay, so now that we have the barrel of the gun, we just add a little detail. So now let's draw in the scope here. So the scope from here, we know it's gonna come up right around here. So we can draw that. Okay, and this here, you can simplify again, just one block. This ends right around here. So let's go back all the way here where the trigger is. So I'm using, whatever reference I can that I've drawn already, and I just, use those to, just keep moving forward, basically. Okay, so this one, okay, there's a little more detail here, some knobs looks like. Okay, so we have that, and then now for the handle, this one's pretty simple. So we know it comes out from here, right? So we're gonna follow this angle. Again, extend the line longer than you normally would. And then we look at this, halfway comes over slightly more, so halfway comes over slightly more. And then, let's see. So how long is this, right? So this part's a little trickier. You can envision that from this corner here, if you draw a line at this angle right here, it's gonna be at that angle, roughly. Okay, so we know it's gonna meet up to this corner right here. We'll round that out. All right, and then you have your blaster. And if you look at the proportions, actually pretty close, right? Not too bad. Yeah, so things like this is actually very easy to draw. I mean, in terms of getting the accuracy on the drawing. The people and, you know, portraits, things like that is a little bit harder because, you know, everything is round and this is very angular, so it's very simple. And then from here, yeah, there's not much to it. It's just a lot of shading. I don't know, I might do that off camera as well. Okay, so yeah, I know this feels a little rushed because I was drawing all four, but hopefully I'll have a better game plan next time around, because I think this is actually very important. And you know, I do have a lot of cards. I can probably pick different subjects and it could be kind of fun. Okay, so once you have that inside, yeah, this blaster might be kind of cool. Shading, highlight here. I haven't drawn much hard surface lately. Yeah, fun. I'm just having too much fun. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, so that's the key to drawing anything, you know. Visualize the shapes, simplify it, you know, from the circle, drawing those lines. And whenever you're sketching, you know, try not to go like this. You know, you don't want to draw small little lines like this. You want to hold it very loose, you know, just let it fall onto your hand. And the stroke is very loose. It's very broad. I'm moving my whole arm. It's not just my wrist here. I never do things like this. It's always the whole arm. And that's gonna allow you to draw, you know, curves like this much easier. It's like I'm drawing this. It's almost like a little, like a meter, you know, it just kind of goes back and forth. And extend the lines, you know, just keep it messy. It's actually better to have things messy. That's it for this. Hopefully I'll look for some other examples to draw, and I think this is a very good exercise. Hopefully you'll find it helpful. Okay, so hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you next time.